Have you ever sat down at the dinner table with a warm plate of fish in front of you? Maybe grilled just right, seasoned with a touch of lemon and herbs, and thought to yourself, this has to be healthy, right? It's fish. Everyone says a fish is good for you. And honestly, most of the time that's true. Fish is lean. It's packed with protein. And we've all heard how great those omega-3s are for the heart and brain, especially as we get older. But what if I told you some of the most popular fish out there, the ones we often think are helping us stay healthy, might actually be doing more harm than good? What if I told you that certain fish could be slowly wearing down your body, quietly damaging your memory, your nervous system, even your heart, and you wouldn't even know it until it was too late? And here's the kicker. Most people have no idea. You see, as we age, our bodies just don't filter out toxins the way they used to. The immune system gets a little slower. Our organs, especially the liver and kidneys, work a little harder. That's natural, but that also means older adults are way more vulnerable to things like mercury, heavy metals, and chemical residues, many of which are hiding inside certain kinds of fish. Fish that look healthy. Fish that are sold as premium. Fish that doctors used to recommend without a second thought, but not anymore. And maybe you're not eating these fish every day. Maybe it's just once in a while at a family barbecue, a church potluck, or during your weekly dinner out. But those little moments, they add up, especially when your body is more sensitive to what it's taking in. I'm not here to scare you, but I am here to warn you because if you're over 60 or you're caring for someone who is, this is the kind of information that could actually protect your long-term health. So, in today's video, I'm going to walk you through 6 types of fish that older adults should never eat at all costs. These aren't guesses. This is based on health research, real case stories, and what nutritionists are quietly urging older folks to avoid. Some of them are probably in your fridge right now. Others are on every menu from coast to coast. And one of them, well, number 4, is the one that might just shock you the most. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to steer clear of and why. And most importantly, you'll have better, safer, smarter alternatives you can enjoy without sacrificing taste or your health. But before we dive in, let me ask you something simple. If you're here because you care about your health or the well-being of someone you love, drop a quick comment below that says, "I'm here." It tells me that this message is reaching the right people. And don't forget, subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Insight if you haven't already, because every day we share life-changing insights that help older adults live longer, feel stronger, and stay informed. All right, ready? Let's talk about the 6 fish you need to watch out for. Starting with one that's often praised for its flavor, but quietly dangerous for aging bodies. King mackerel. Now imagine this, your grandfather. He's always been the grill master of the family. Every Sunday, there he is out on the patio flipping thick, juicy filets of king mackerel on the grill. He swears by it, says it's good for the heart, good for the brain. And to be fair, fish can be when it's the right kind. But over time, you start to notice something different in him. He's more tired than usual. He forgets simple things, names, appointments, where he left the remote. His hands sometimes tremble when he lifts his coffee cup in the morning. At first, you chalk it up to aging. Just part of getting older, right? But what if it isn't? What if the very thing he thought was keeping him healthy was slowly causing more harm than he ever imagined? Here's what you need to know. King mackerel is one of the worst offenders when it comes to mercury levels in fish. Mercury is a heavy metal, and when you're younger, your body has more resilience. But as we age, our ability to flush out toxins like mercury slows down. That means it builds up quietly over time until it starts affecting the way you think, the way you feel, and even how your body functions. For seniors, too much mercury doesn't just mean forgetfulness. It can trigger serious cognitive decline, nerve damage, loss of coordination, and even cardiovascular stress. But here's where a lot of folks get it wrong. They confuse king mackerel with Atlantic mackerel. Sounds similar, right? But they're very different. Atlantic mackerel is much safer, lower in mercury, higher in nutrients, and it actually is a good choice for older adults, but king mackerel, it's a health trap in disguise, and no one's really out there waving a red flag about it. So, if it's sitting in your freezer, or if it's on your go-to list at the seafood counter, it might be time to make a change. Now, I'm not saying you have to give up fish entirely. Not at all. There are better alternatives that are both delicious and safe. Instead of king mackerel, try wild-caught salmon or sardines. Both are rich in omega-3s, low in mercury, and incredibly good for brain and heart health. They're not just safer, they're smarter choices for long-term wellness. And remember, when it comes to food at this stage of life, it's not just about taste. It's about protecting your future, one meal at a time. But mercury isn't the only danger hiding in your seafood. Some fish bring a different kind of threat, one that goes after your immune system, quietly weakening your natural defenses when you need them the most. Let's talk about the second fish, older. Adults should absolutely steer clear of. Fish number 2, tile fish. Now here's the thing about tile fish. You might not even realize you're eating it. It's sneaky. You sit down at a nice restaurant, maybe you're celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, or just having a special night out, and you see whitefish or catch of the day on the menu. Sounds innocent enough, right? Light, flaky, maybe grilled with a lemon butter sauce. You think, well, it's seafood, it must be good for me. But what they don't always tell you is that fish could very well be tile fish. And tile fish, that's one you need to watch out for, especially if you're over 60. Let me explain why. Tile fish, particularly the kind caught in the Gulf of Mexico, has some of the highest mercury levels of any fish out there. We're talking even higher than king mackerel. And for older adults, that's a serious concern because mercury isn't just something you hear about in scary documentaries. It's real. And when it builds up in your system, it starts to mess with your neurological health. That means your brain, your balance, your memory, even your mood. Over time, mercury toxicity can lead to numbness, confusion, memory loss, and for some people, even signs of dementia-like symptoms. And what makes this worse? Tilefish often shows up on menus as a premium option. It might come with a higher price tag, a fancier presentation, a name that sounds exotic, but expensive doesn't always mean healthy. And in this case, it's the exact opposite. So here's a simple rule for when you're dining out. Always ask what kind of whitefish is being served. Don't be shy. You have every right to know what's going on your plate. If they say tile fish, politely pass. Ask if they have something safer like cod or haddock. Both are mild, easy on digestion, and much lower in mercury. And your body, especially your brain, will thank you for it. Because in your later years, it's not just about what fills you up. It's about what keeps you sharp, steady, and strong. Now let's talk about a fish that sounds elegant, maybe even a little luxurious. But beneath that fancy name lies a web of hidden risks that older adults just shouldn't take. Fish number 3, swordfish. Now this one carries a certain image with it, doesn't it? You don't usually see swordfish served at everyday meals. It shows up at elegant dinners, maybe on a cruise ship, or during a family celebration at a fancy restaurant. And it's not uncommon to hear an older parent or grandparent say, "I'll treat myself this time. I'll have the swordfish." It sounds rich, flavorful, special, and in their mind, it might feel like a healthy indulgence. But here's the part most people don't know. That special treat could be quietly doing long-term damage to their health. Swordfish is one of the longest-living and largest predatory fish in the ocean. And because of that, it spends years and years absorbing mercury and other toxins from the food chain. By the time it lands on your plate, that beautiful filth can be loaded with mercury. Now remember, Mercury doesn't just float through your system and disappear, especially in older adults whose metabolism has slowed down. It stays in the body. And where does it go? To the kidneys, the nervous system, and the brain. That means an increased risk of nerve damage, memory issues, tremors, and cognitive decline. And if you or your loved one already has a history of kidney strain, high blood pressure, or neurological issues, swordfish could quietly push things in the wrong direction. Now here's the dangerous assumption a lot of folks make. They think, well, if I grill it thoroughly, that should take care of anything harmful, right? Unfortunately, that's not how mercury works. You can't cook it out. You can't season it away. Mercury stays in the meat, whether it's raw, baked, or flame-grilled. So, what can you do instead? If you or someone you love enjoys a rich, hearty fish, there are safer alternatives that still bring flavor to the table. Try trout, especially rainbow trout or pollock. Both are mild, flaky, and easy to prepare. They're low in mercury, full of healthy fats, and much gentler on aging organs. It's all about making smart swaps, trading something risky for something nourishing. Because at this stage in life, food isn't just about enjoyment, it's about protection. And speaking of risks, what if I told you the next fish is one you've probably seen on every sushi menu, every seafood platter, every upscale buffet? It's sleek, popular, a favorite among seafood lovers, but for older adults, it might be just as dangerous as the last three, if not more. Fish number 4, AI tuna, also known as big eye tuna. Now, this one might surprise you because these days, sushi nights aren't just for the younger crowd anymore. You've probably seen it, maybe even experienced it yourself. Your older friends, your parents, or even you going out for a fresh sushi platter. It's a social experience. It feels fresh, modern, even light and healthy. And right there on the plate, front and center, is that beautiful slice of deep red AI tuna. But here's the truth. Most people don't hear that AI tuna might not be doing your body any favors. In fact, for older adults, it can pose a serious health risk. Let's break it down. Big eye tuna lives long and swims deep. Just like swordfish, it sits high up in the food chain, which means it accumulates mercury at much higher levels than many other fish. But unlike swordfish, AI tuna is often eaten raw, which brings a whole other issue into the picture. Bacteria. When you're young and your immune system is strong, your body might handle the occasional exposure to bacteria in raw fish. But as we age, our immune systems naturally weaken. Even something as simple as a low-grade bacterial infection from raw tuna can hit harder, last longer, and be much more dangerous. We're talking about things like salmonella, listeria, and even parasites that the body just can't fight off the way it used to. And when you combine mercury exposure with bacterial risk, that's a double strike to an aging body. And here's where the confusion comes in. Most people think all tuna is the same. You see tuna on a label and think it's a safe go-to, but there's a huge difference between the types. Big eye and albacore tuna, they're on the high mercury list. Those are the ones you'll find in fancy sushi rolls or high-end seared tuna steaks. They may taste rich, but the risk is real. On the other hand, skipjack tuna, often labeled as light tuna in cans, is much safer. It's lower in mercury, more affordable, and easier to portion. So here's what I recommend. If you love tuna, or you're caring for someone who does, choose canned light tuna instead. Stick to no more than 2 servings per week for seniors. And always opt for cooked over raw when possible. It's a simple change, but it could make a big difference in staying clear of hidden health threats. Now let's shift gears a bit because the next fish we're about to talk about, it's not just a grocery store regular. It's incredibly popular around the world. But what St. people don't realize is that it's often farmed in highly questionable, even toxic conditions. And for seniors, That's a red flag we can't afford to ignore. Fish number 5, farmed salmon. You've seen it before. You walk into your local grocery store. A neatly wrapped fillet of salmon sits there on display. The colors are vibrant pink. The price is marked down and you think this is a steal. Salmon's healthy, right? But here's the part that's rarely mentioned on the label. Not all salmon is created equal. And if that salmon is farmed, especially from countries with loose regulations like Chile or parts of Southeast Asia, it could be carrying more than just protein and omega-3s. Let me explain. Farmed salmon are raised in crowded underwater pens. Pens where thousands of fish swim in tight spaces, eating pellets made from low-grade ingredients. These conditions create the perfect breeding ground for disease and parasites. To prevent outbreaks, these fish are often fed antibiotics. And in some cases, they're even given chemical colorants to make the flesh look pink because without it, the meat would be gray. But it gets worse. That same feed they're given, it's often contaminated with PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls and dioxins. These are toxic industrial chemicals that have been linked to cancer, hormone disruption, and immune system damage. Now imagine what that does to an elderly body, already more sensitive, already more vulnerable. These chemicals can trigger inflammation, worsen arthritis, and put additional strain on the heart. And yet many people still believe salmon is salmon. They hear omega-3s and assume they're doing the right thing. But here's the truth. Farm-raised salmon can do more harm than good, especially when eaten regularly. So what's the solution? Look for wild-caught Alaskan salmon. It's cleaner, leaner, and higher in naturally occurring omega-3 fatty acids. It comes from pristine waters, and it's caught in a way that avoids many of the chemicals and risks tied to farming. It's a little more expensive, yes, but when it comes to your health or your loved ones, it's an investment worth making. And that brings us to the final fish on our list, one that may stir up some emotions. Because for many seniors, this next fish isn't just food, it's comfort, a taste of the past, a reminder of home. But in today's world, even comfort food comes with warnings. Fish number 6, imported catfish. Now picture this. Your grandfather is in the kitchen frying up a batch of crispy catfish just the way he used to. It's a weekend tradition, a family favorite. That smell alone brings back memories of childhood, laughter, and togetherness. But what if I told you that same catfish, if it's imported, could be putting him at serious risk? Here's the problem. Imported catfish, especially those coming from parts of Asia, are often raised in unregulated fish farms with poor sanitation and questionable practices. These farms use antibiotics and chemicals to keep diseases at bay. But many of those antibiotics are banned here in the U.S. because they've been linked to antibiotic resistance and even long-term health issues. So, when a senior eats catfish from one of these sources, they may be exposing themselves to drug-resistant bacteria their immune system isn't prepared to handle. And remember, older adults already have a weakened immune response. Something that might only cause mild stomach upset in a younger person could lead to serious illness, hospitalization, or worse in someone over 65. Still, people choose it because it's cheaper, more accessible, and easy to find in bulk. But that low price, it comes at a hidden cost. So, what's the safer route? If you or your loved ones enjoy catfish, stick to U.S. farmed ties. American standards for fish farming are much stricter with better water quality, regulated feed, and limited use of antibiotics. And no matter where it's from, make sure it's fully cooked. Well done, catfish can reduce bacteria risk, especially for those with slower digestion or chronic illnesses. Comfort food should bring comfort, not danger. Now that we've gone through these 6 fish older adults should avoid, it's time to pause and reflect on what this really means for your well-being or for the well-being of someone you care about. Because behind every item on this list isn't just science. It's about protection. It's about preserving quality of life, one meal at a time. Let's take a breath here. We've talked about mercury, toxins, and hidden dangers in common fish. But at the heart of it all, this is about something much deeper. Seeing a loved one make choices that slowly harm their health without even realizing it is painful. Maybe it's your mother who thinks she's eating healthy because she picked salmon. Maybe it's your grandfather who still enjoys his favorite fried fish from the diner every Friday. They're trying to do what's right. They're doing what they've always done. And yet these small, everyday choices could be nudging their health in the wrong direction little by little. And you see it happening. You see them getting more tired, forgetting things more often, getting sick more frequently. You wonder if it's just age. But sometimes it's also what's on their plate. And that's hard because these are the people who raised us, who gave us everything. And now in these later years, they're the ones who need us most. But here's the thing. This moment right now is where the shift happens. This isn't about fear. This isn't about guilt. This is about power. Your power. Because now you know. You know what to look for. You know which choices carry risk and which ones bring relief. And that knowledge, that's everything. It means you can gently guide your parents to better options without scaring them. You can help your spouse make a wiser choice at the grocery store. You can check a menu before you order, not out of fear, but out of love. Because love, especially in our later years, looks like this. It looks like checking a label. It looks like asking, "Where's this fish from?" It looks like saying, "Let's try something new this week." And that's why I'm telling you now, you don't have to give up fish. You don't have to give up your favorites. You just have to be a little more intentional. Choose wild caught. Choose low mercury. Choose what supports your body, not what breaks it down. Even small changes can bring years of clearer thinking, stronger bones, healthier hearts, and better sleep. Isn't that what we all want for our later years? Isn't that what we want for the people we love? Let today be the start. Tonight, check your fridge. See what's in there. Read the labels. Think about what you've learned today. And take one small step. Just one. Maybe it's replacing that big eye tuna with canned light. Maybe it's swapping out that sale bin farmed salmon for a cleaner, wild-caught piece. Maybe it's just having a conversation at the dinner table about making smarter choices together. That's how change begins. Not with big, dramatic moves, but with careful, loving steps in the right direction. And please hear this. No matter your age, no matter your health history, you still have control. Your health is not behind you. It's still within your reach. Better choices, better days, they're possible starting right now. Because caring for yourself or someone you love isn't just about medicine and appointments. It's about what you do every day, what you eat, what you know, and how you act on it. And I promise you, these little things, they make the biggest difference. Let's take a moment to bring it all together. To quickly recap, there are 6 fish older adults should really think twice about before putting on their plate. King mackerel sounds healthy but packed with mercury. Tilefish, often hidden in restaurant meals, quietly harming the brain. Swordfish, elegant on the outside, dangerous on the inside. AI tuna, big eye tuna, a sushi favorite, but risky, especially for older immune systems. Farm salmon, it's not the salmon itself, but the way it's raised, that's the issue. Imported catfish, cheap and easy to find, but often comes with hidden harmful baggage. Each one might seem innocent, even healthy at first glance. But as we've learned today, they each come with a unique risk to aging bodies. From mercury buildup to inflammation to dangerous bacteria. And when you're older, when your immune system is slower and your organs are more sensitive, those risks matter. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you or a loved one regularly eaten any of these fish without knowing the risks? Was one of them a weekly staple in your home like it was in mine for years? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and I truly want to hear your stories, your questions, or even your favorite safer alternatives. Let's learn from each other. Let's grow together. Because this isn't just a video, it's a community. And if this helped you, even just a little, please give it a thumbs up so it reaches someone else who needs this information too. And subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Insight if you haven't already. This channel is your daily home for real practical advice on aging well, staying informed, and caring for yourself and your loved ones with intention and wisdom. From nutrition to mental health to small lifestyle choices that make a big difference, we cover it all every day. So whether you're here for yourself or for someone you love deeply, you're in the right place. And before we wrap up, let me just say thank you. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being curious. Thank you for choosing knowledge and action over fear and confusion. You are the reason this message matters because every informed choice you make today leads to a better tomorrow for you and for those you love. So stay wise, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. From all of us here at Elderly Wisdom Insight, take care and be well.